Hey guys, welcome back. We have a new week of astrology to get into. We got a few things happening this week. We do start out, I think, in some pretty optimistic, uplifting energy. We got a pretty prominent Jupiter influence to get our week started. There's also a lot here about interconnectivity, people coming together. We have a Mercury-Venus conjunction that takes place on Tuesday as well. This is also trine Jupiter. This is also trine Saturn. Very, very good partnership, collaboration oriented energy this week. And also financial deals, business transactions and stuff like that are likely to go well. We're going to talk about it in the report for today. As we move through the week, we do have some shifting vibes going on. We've got both Saturn and Mercury both changing directions, stationing direct in the sky this week. Some things may be about to start moving forward. If you felt like there's been a stagnancy or a pause or just an inability to get things together and start heading forward in some direction, the moment that you've been waiting for may be coming as we move through the week this week. And we just got a lot to talk about, you guys. That grand trine in water is yet again being activated this week by Venus. Venus is making a lot of aspects this week again, emphasis on relationship and financial dynamics. Let's get into the report. Let's take a closer look at everything we got going on out there this week and what it might mean for us as we get our week started. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today is Monday, November 24th, 2025. My name is Aubrey. This is your astrological outlook of the day where we are narrating the shift of the ages. And if you guys stick with me until the end of this video, I have done a collective tarot reading for us today as well. I like to tap the energy field from more than one modality whenever I'm doing these energy overviews, just to get an alternative energetic perspective on what's going on out there. So there could be some messages in there for you. We're going to do that at the end. We've got a bunch of astrology to get into. If you guys caught my weekend video, I was saying that I was seeing a shift come in terms of the energy this week that is going to highlight relationships, financial situations, and just sort of the interconnectivity between people generally. You know, we've got a few different things going on this week. Primarily, Venus is going to be an energetic highlight. Venus rules love and relationships and the aesthetics and the appearance and the image of things and what we like and what we love and what we want and what we desire. Venus is actually transiting now through the specific degree range in the sign of Scorpio that is bringing her into a trine with both Jupiter in the sign of Cancer, Saturn in the sign of Pisces. They are currently in a sustained trine together. This is a master builder visionary energy. I've been talking about it for, I feel months now, but we've been having these personal planets, Mars, Mercury, the Sun, recently the new moon, and also now Venus transiting right now, Saturn is at 25 degrees of Pisces, Jupiter is at 24 degrees of Pisces. So anywhere really between 20 and 27, 28 degrees of Pisces. If you have water sign planets in your chart there, they're being heavily activated by these planets. But when the planets, these personal planets, because it's, been Scorpio season, are transiting through the sign of Scorpio, hitting that specific degree range, they are completing the third leg of the water sign trine, as we have Jupiter in Cancer already and Saturn in Pisces in a trine already, and that is forming these perpetuating grand trines in water that have been so much the subject of our discussions over this past couple of weeks. So now we have Venus doing the same thing. Of course, that is going to put the energetic emphasis on love, friendships, social situations, relationships, partnerships of all kinds, assets, resources, even land, property, food, agriculture, financial markets and stuff like that, but also this interconnectivity between things and between people and patterning. And aside from that, Venus transiting that specific degree range, forming that grand trine really all week, but more specifically on Tuesday and Wednesday. And then as we move through the week, Venus is going to make the next aspect in these this series of aspects that the Scorpio planets have been making, because we also currently have Uranus right now at 29 degrees, the very last degree of the sign of Taurus, which opposes Scorpio in a perfect sextile aspect to Neptune, who is currently at 29 degrees of the sign of Pisces. So we've got Saturn and Jupiter in a trine together in these water signs. We've also got Uranus and Neptune in a perfect sextile together. So like these last 10 degrees essentially of the sign of Scorpio, as the planets are moving through, forming that grand water trine with Jupiter and Saturn, and then moving on and forming the opposition and the trine to Uranus and Neptune. Very interesting energetic activations that are represented, especially through like the combination of those transits. We've been talking on and on about it. We're going to be talking about it more, of course, as we move through the week. And Venus now does that. We've had, as I said, Mars do it already. We've had the Sun do it. We've had Mercury do it. Mercury has actually done it more than once because Mercury has been retrograding, which is another thing that is going to switch up this week. As I said, Mercury is going to be stationing direct. But yeah, so Venus is going to be hitting all of these planets. To start the week, Venus is going to be trining Jupiter, trining Saturn. To end the week, Venus is going to be opposing Uranus, trining Neptune. So we'll be talking more specifically about that particular Venus energy dynamic as we get more towards the end of the week. But she's also doing all of this movement, creating all of these activations, activating all of these aspects in combination with Mercury, because as I said, Mercury is also right now retrograding, moving backwards through the sign of Scorpio, and is going to come into alignment with Venus on Tuesday, right as she's basically just about to make the perfect trine to Saturn and Jupiter and form this grand water trine. Venus, of course, like I've said, it's what we love, it's what we're attracted to. It's also very creative energy, desires, values, and Mercury is the messenger planet, ideas, thoughts, communication, what we're learning about, what we're thinking about, what we're talking about. There are likely to be a lot of topics of conversations taking place this week, having to do therefore with what people want, what people value, the direction that people want to take things. Also, like recognizing patterns and situations and wanting to make changes to maybe move things in a different direction. On Tuesday, actually, the conjunction between Venus and Mercury will take place when Mercury is retrograde. So there could be some resolving old issues. There could be some, figuring out why things weren't working and making changes, making adjustments that go on. There could be people from the past that are coming back somehow. There could be talks about the past, or like conversations about like old relationships, or, what went wrong in the past, or, the way that things are being redirected now, maybe as a result of how an examination, like a deeper examination to how things played out in the past. There could also be like revelations and secrets revealed. The Venus-Mercury conjunction is taking place in the sign of Scorpio. All about, really kind of like, this is making things more deep, okay? And also, as I have said a lot of times by now, in the trine to Jupiter as well. And Jupiter has to do with truth, and Jupiter has to do with wisdom, and Jupiter is expansion. So we could definitely be gaining an enhanced understanding about something from the past that helps us to like redirect the way things are going to move going forward, or that is reparative in some context, maybe having to do with relationships, or that causes some type of shift or change in values or value systems to be coming through. So a million ways that this could go, but I do think that for a lot of people, the focal point and the topic of conversation this week is probably going to have to do with relationships or other people. Now, it's ironic because it happens to be Thanksgiving week here in the United States as well, which is all about like people gathering and coming together and like sharing meals and sharing food and like spending a lot of money and stuff like that. And all of those things would be key characteristics of a Mercury-Venus conjunction going on. So it does look like it's going to be probably a pretty like socially pleasant, at least beginning to the week, at least maybe beginning to the Thanksgiving festivities this week. Now, I will say, of all the days this week, Thursday is actually kind of like the biggest wild card Thursday, maybe the most serious day for some reason. I'll talk in more detail about it in a minute as we get through the report, but just to kind of lead into that energy. Thursday is the day that we have Saturn stationing direct, and we are also going to have the moon in Aquarius, square Venus, square Uranus, and also don't forget about the black moon, you guys. That's been another dimension of the whole energetic unfolding story over this past couple of weeks as these planets have been moving through the sign of Scorpio, forming these grand water trines. They've also been coming into a conjunction with the black moon, who is right now currently at 27 degrees of the sign of Scorpio as well. So, facing fears may have been an element of the way that things have been playing out or manifesting throughout this past couple of weeks. There could still be something about that going on, but I will say, and we'll talk about this more again as we get through the week, Venus and the black moon are going to be coming into a conjunction together next. That's like the dark and light aspects or dimensions or archetypal feminine energy being integrated, being merged. There could be kind of some type of rebalancing that we find to be going on this week as well. And again, we'll discuss that more in the next video and as we move through the week when that energy comes more exact. But there could be a level of intensity to things with the merger of, and merger is definitely a word that could be relevant this week, but the merger, the alignment of Mercury retrograde and Venus in the sign of Scorpio, things are just likely to be like there's like a desire to like go deep, to like feel very like intimately connected and stuff like that. Like I think a lot of people may be having some like just real deep like bonding moments or like time spent like very like intimately connected, maybe in terms of a conversation, maybe just in terms of like a shared experience somehow. But that could definitely be an element of the way that this energy expresses also. But you know, Mercury and Venus, okay, relationships, other people, also like the gathering, socializing, get together situations. We've got deals and we've got partnerships of all kinds, like plans and like negotiations and stuff like that being highlighted as well. Excellent energy. Like if you got to make any type of a sales pitch or something like that, there is a great persuasion ability when we have Venus and Mercury together. Like that's charismatic, that's like magnetic, like a magnetic ability to communicate. People are likely to perceive you as being like very good looking or very beautiful or like a very pleasant like image or aesthetic appeal or something like that. So really good week, especially opening the week if you need to, I don't know, make an argument about something, do a presentation, make a sales pitch. Things like that are likely to go quite well. This is also just a generally quite socially harmonious energy, I think. And again, especially at least to get the week started, people should be coming together in a way that is like uplifting or pleasant or optimistic and more peace and balance oriented. But there is this element of like this like deep, intense connection that people are really craving after and desiring for as well. But positive, productive, I would say beneficial nature for sure to the interpersonal flow of energy. Getting our week started, at least. People should be more extroverted, maybe more chatty, optimistic, and enthusiastic about things. This is also energy with Venus in the trine of Jupiter. You know, if you need something, if you need to like ask for a favor or ask for a raise or a promotion or something like that, as long as you've been doing a good job, that will probably, like, things like that are more likely to be honored and accepted and like agreed to in this energy as well. So should be good for that. Great week to make plans, great week to make deals. Again, great week to negotiate or have meetings if you need to have them. They should go well too. And I would expect people to just kind of be like in a good place or a better place or a more uplifted or optimistic place to get our week started. Now, as I've already mentioned, the 27th, that is an interesting day. We've got the Saturn station. We've got Venus and the black moon in a conjunction that is opposite Uranus and is going to be squared by the moon. So there could just be some unexpected, I don't know, like people being triggered or something, or like emotional reactions or conversations, like things not going as anticipated somehow, that kind of I don't know, like reorients things or disorients things maybe somehow in the energy of Thursday. But also with this Saturn station, a maybe greater level of seriousness or significance that could occur unexpectedly as well. It could also represent some type of renewal or some type of commitment, and things also beginning to move forward. Again, with both Saturn and Mercury stationing direct this week, this is like removing blockages to our ability to get the job done, to like accomplish the task, to start moving towards the goal, to figure out the answer, right? To like get the memo or the information, to receive the information that we need to move forward, or to like make a choice or make a decision that maybe had been holding us up somehow, or again, like to make some type of commitment, to make some type of investment. Like there could just be like green lights coming through after we get through the end of the week this week. Or things could just sort of be like opening up somehow that allows for some type of progress or forward movement. Also honesty, also accountability, and maybe some very surprising truth could come out later in the week somehow as well. So Thursday through the weekend may hold a bit of a greater weight than what we've got going on to get the week started. Again, as I said, we do have these vibe shifts coming in as we head more towards the end of the week. The end of the week is looking a bit less predictable or maybe like stable, but also things could get a little bit exciting. Again, as I said, there could be some like sudden forward movement that maybe we just like weren't expecting or anticipating somehow. And as a result, maybe things could feel like they are getting serious or getting real, or just like about to start like taking off in some maybe like long anticipated way, or unanticipated direction. There could be like unanticipated gains that go on this week, or there could just be like sudden gains or sudden shifts or sudden transformations or sudden like reversals in various situations. But all week, emphasis on relational or financial dimensions and components of things, and things are likely to start flowing or to be flowing quite abundantly. Again, strong Jupiter energy. Jupiter is this expansive energy. Jupiter supersizes things. Jupiter has the tendency of amplifying the energy of whatever planet it's making a contact with. And of course, right now this week, we've got the moon forming an opposition on Monday to Jupiter. The moon is our emotions, our feelings. So there could be some big feelings or some big emotions that we're having about something, or with Venus there and Mercury also, like someone. But then Mercury and Venus in the trine to Jupiter as well. This could be like a lot of generosity, a lot of compassion, like people being maybe in a very giving type of mood and having big feelings that they feel like they need to express to someone. I think a lot of people are going to be confessing feelings, maybe feelings that have been repressed or suppressed or held down for a while, coming out in like this outpouring, but like a flood or an overflow of feelings or emotions or attraction or sentiment or love, affection could for sure be coming through in the energy of, Monday and Tuesday specifically. Monday, that moon Jupiter opposition right there is enhancing this likelihood as well, because it's like we're not just thinking about it, and it's not just like what's in our heart that we really need to talk about with Mercury and Jupiter, or Mercury and Venus in the conjunction trine Jupiter, but then with the moon right there as well, is like I got these big feelings and they're just kind of needing to like spill out here. But Mercury and Venus together do have a tendency of giving us an ability to like very either like creatively or articulately express feelings. And like even people that generally do have a difficult time saying how they feel or talking about their feelings are likely to find that they're just kind of like flowing out of their mouth with more like ease and grace in this energy than they may typically experience. So after saying all that and considering those dynamics, obviously you understand why I'm saying it seems like we've got a pretty positive outlook going on to get the week started. The give and receive factor is kind of like supersized and amplified here, and Jupiter is this like optimistic, uplifting, like faith, confidence, trust, hope inspiring energy. So Things may be just looking or feeling up somehow. This is also a great week for any type of legal outcomes, feeling positive in the potential maybe of some present relationships or partnerships, or the like deals or whatever that seem to be coming into formation right now, making successful attempts at like mediation or negotiation. Those things are likely to go well. And a very, very creative energy also. I don't want to like neglect to emphasize the creative angle that we've got going on here. Any type of art, any type of artistic or like musical expression, design, creative writing and stuff like that also probably going to be beautiful, probably going to be like deep and moving and have this like magnetic appeal to it. So if you are into that type of thing, this is a really good week to like harness that energy and create something that really is beautiful and that will kind of like magnetize, like grab the eye and the attention of others in a way that could be valuable somehow. Also, Venus also rules value. So there's this powerful sense of attraction and magnetism just present in the energy field this week. And of course, the expression of language and the presentation of things, the appearance of things should be quite beautiful and charming, magnetic this week as well. Lots of charisma, lots of flavor. Things may be also like very tempting or almost like borderline intoxicating somehow in their draw, in their appeal. There is a little bit of a caution that I should state here as well, because whenever, and I say this all the time, whenever we're dealing with Jupiter energy, Jupiter is, traditionally known as the great benefic. This is the Santa Claus planet. This is the bestower of gifts and blessings and wisdom and good fortune, but it also can have a hard time with boundaries and limitations. Now, I will say with the Saturnian trine there, not so much. We do have a definitely like a stronger ability to like moderate the excess associated with the Jupiterian energy when we've got an ongoing trine between Jupiter and Saturn. So this is on one level just kind of like energetically moderating itself. So it's likely to be less out of control, but still be careful with like extravagance that is just like taken a bit too far, overindulging, overcommitting with the Mercury there right now as well, like over promising, over investing, overspending, oversharing, also like overeating or over drinking for sure with this happening in the water signs. That honestly could be one of the more like mundane ways that this is manifesting this week. A lot of people could be really enjoying their socializing out there and going a little bit overboard in terms of the liquids and like drinks and like also just like rich flavorful foods and stuff like that. So abundance with some practical moderation, I would say, is the best approach in this energy. Yes, enjoy the bounty and the abundance and the cup runneth over type of, stuff that could be going on, but we do want to be able to strike that balance and not take things too far. And people may definitely be feeling the love or feeling the need, again, to express their love or express some desire or some idea or some like sentiment, feeling, or even like plan or strategy about something as we get our week started. So open-heartedness for sure. Generosity is definitely probably vibe. The desire to share, the desire to connect deeply, definitely all themes this week. There is, as I said, the Scorpio energy is bringing in this deeper quality to the like this connectivity energy that is already present from Mercury and Venus being in their alignment. There's this like deepness, richness, and meaningfulness of significance somehow that could factor in. Okay. This could also represent growth that is taking place. Jupiter, again, expansion, growth, amplification of things, growth in the context of relationships or plans or endeavors, things related to home and family and also to career could be relevant this week. And of course, major transformations, major life changes may be unfolding or underway or kicking off somehow right now. Remember, we are moving through like a crazy, powerful, transformative, like radical new beginning oriented Scorpio lunar cycle that began a couple days ago. And so these type of things could be very present in whatever we've got unfolding right now as well. So overall, I again do think that things are likely to be looking up to get the week started on Monday. On Tuesday, this is when we do have the exact alignment between Mercury and Venus occur. That's happening at 22 degrees of the sign of Scorpio. You may hear from people from the past. Mercury is retrograde. There could be, again, this could also be resolving old issues, but there could be an emphasis on the past going on somehow on Tuesday. You could be thinking about or talking about like some old love or commitment or desire or investment or opportunity or decision or something like that. And there could also be like an element of some type of obsessive thoughts maybe about someone going on, or some object of desire or some passion that's been like ignited in you somehow, or something that you like really value and or desire or want to pursue. Aside from, and this is interesting to me, aside from the exact Venus-Mercury retrograde conjunction that again is trining Jupiter, is trining Saturn, we also have the moon entering the sign of Aquarius, coming into a conjunction with Pluto. Now, that is what could be bringing the like obsession or the more just like powerful emotion or instinct towards something somehow. That moon Pluto conjunction, that's also going to be in a sextile to the sun in Sagittarius. But with Mercury and Venus there, again, this is like tremendously deepening the dimensions that we can take the level of like conversation or connection or experience with somebody. This could be a very, very passionate energy going on Tuesday. Powerful emotions, focused on our desires, focused on what we want, passions again like running high. There could be powerful and transformative offers that come through, opportunities that are presented, meetings, connections, conversations, again like merger is kind of a word of the week to me. And a strong intuition as well, strong intuitive urges, strong like instincts that are kind of compelling us to like want to do or to say or to go after something. But Mercury and Venus together, this does normally tend to bring expressions of love, affection, attraction. People are probably going to be verbalizing those are more readily at least, or again like more articulately than they may normally do or be able to do. And with that moon Pluto conjunction as well, there could be this intense outpouring of these repressed feelings or things that we've just been holding in or holding on to that expose maybe desires or values or feelings or sentiments somehow. So again, I do think people may be like confessing feelings in some pretty significant ways maybe as we move through the week this week. There is also often an ability to perceive patterns in a way that make things make more sense. We've got a Venus-Mercury conjunction, especially when it's in Scorpio, especially when Mercury is retrograding right now. So being able to tie things together, to see like the interlocking web of things, be able to connect the dots, and like all of a sudden like, you know, coming to a point where like you suddenly understand why that thing that happened 5 years ago in that specific way that you could never make sense of, all of a sudden like all the pieces come together and you realize like, oh, this is what that was about. So there could be like that type of vibe or experience that people are kind of coming into an alignment with or figuring out in this energy as well. It does, a Mercury Venus, like this does tend to be a more mentalized or intellectual expression of love or appreciation of beauty. But again, like with that Scorpio energy, with the black moon right there as well, and you know, on Tuesday with the moon Pluto also, I still think that it's probably going to be pretty deep and pretty profound and like emotionally intense, the ways that people are connecting and relating to each other. You may find yourself experiencing also some type of merger of thought or feeling that is going on in a way that needs to be expressed. Again, like this outpouring, this overflow, like I gotta get it out. And that's actually where the more artistic quality present in this energy can come from just this like fusion of our thoughts and our feelings in a way that needs to be expressed, but is like integrated in such a fashion that it often just like comes out in a more creative or artistic way. Like art, music, again, like writing, poetry, lyrics and stuff may just be like rolling off the tongue a little bit easier in the energy, or just may provide like a deeper or more profound impact than they normally might. And this is of course going to be really, really good energy for any type of communication that is going on in relationships, specifically because there is an ability to discuss various aspects of relationships that can lead to improvements, that can lead to a greater place of shared understanding. So if you need to, like, especially also with Mercury retrograde, if you need to make some type of a repair, if you want to fix something or resolve something or solve a problem in a relationship, or even if like you have to have a more difficult conversation, there are likely to be positive, productive outcomes. Things are probably going to go well. There's an ability for like the nature of the perspective or the way that the conversation goes down to like get people on the same page somehow, like seeing things from a broader or like elevated perspective that allows for some type of compromise or negotiation or mediation. So it is a good day. If you need to resolve interpersonal or relationship dynamics as well, it should go pretty well. This energy is also going to be great for doing any type of research in the sign of Scorpio for sure. Figuring things out, solving mysteries, solving crimes, connecting dots, unraveling threads, tying and piecing things together. Solutions to old problems could definitely be part of the experience this week. Recognizing the patterns, the desire to change and decide could come as a result of whatever it is that you're figuring out. Things finally making sense, seeing the past in a new light maybe. And then of course also the financial element. This is generally favorable for all types of financial and business dealings, but even more so with the trine to Jupiter and the trine to Saturn as well. Could be a very productive week, you guys. Make progress in some regard, relational, financial, social, in terms of goals. Use this energy. You know, it's really good for planning, master builder, visionary energy, collaboration, partnership, working together, getting on the same page of something. Gains are very possible. Long-term success is also very possible in the context of the unions, the mergers that are coming together now and in the energy of this week. Making gains is definitely a vibe to start the week, and I do think people will be generally inspired to grow, to expand, to plan, to connect, to invest, to commit, and to move things forward. And it's funny because on Tuesday, while we've got like all of that type of vibe going on, we also have the Earth at 4 degrees of Gemini in the in terms of the Sabian symbol placement, and that Sabian symbol is holly and mistletoe reawaken old memories of Christmas. So again, like this emphasis from the past, but that is kind of like the vibe here, this like jolly, more uplifting, like gregarious, generous, giving, like outpouring, having confidence, hope, faith, trust, belief type of energy. So people may be starting to get in a little bit of that holiday spirit as we move through the week this week. And then, as I said, Mercury and Venus coming together, 22 degrees of Scorpio. That Sabian symbol associated with that degree is actually, that would be the Sabian symbol for 23 degrees of Scorpio, because whenever we read the symbolic placement associated with a degree, we round up a degree. We read the wave of energy that is pulling in, beginning to manifest, gaining, strength, not the energy that is already passed and that is waning out and that we move beyond. So when we have a conjunction happening at 22 degrees and something minutes of any sign, we are going to reference the 23rd degree in terms of the Sabian symbol placement of that sign. And that Sabian symbol is a rabbit metamorphosed into a fairy, which also sort of honestly like feels kind of like the vibe this week. Transformation, magic, alchemy, anything is possible right now. I've been saying this for a couple weeks right now. We really are in quite a magical window period of time. Like, if you are a person who engages in like manifestation practices and stuff like that, I would say to make sure that you are doing it in this energy, because we're being like, there is like, things are translating from the like ethereal invisible planes of reality into like physical form and substance, I feel like, much more readily, much more quickly, and much more easily than they do under normal circumstances for some reason. And this is likely to just be a time of profound and unexpected changes that we've got going on. So that's what I've got to say, you guys, about our week. Well, the general tone and vibe of the week. Of course, I'll be back on Wednesday and Friday this week to walk us through the other more specific aspects that we've got coming through. But yeah, that's how we're getting our week started, and that's what our energetic setup is as we hit the energy of Monday and Tuesday as well. So now let's get to our tarot reading. Interesting tarot reading today, you guys. It's funny because the astrology is indicating that it's all about the relationships here. And we've got a lot of big changes that are incoming as well. And then we get a tarot, message for today, tarot spread. And we've literally got the Tower and the Three of Swords. The Tower came out, these two cards came out as one, but they were really two. And they're the Tower and they're the Three of Swords. Now, I will say they did come out in reverse. We also have the King of Pentacles on the back of the deck. Again, there could be some sudden upset or change or shock or shakeup that occurs having to do with financial situations, like stability, commitments, investments, our feeling of being kind of like sure and secure and stable in some material realm. But this is also talking about like being it at a place of manifestation potential. Like, either the way that things are shifting and changing now is putting us in a better position to like step into a greater sense of personal power and be able to be more self-generating somehow, or there's some healing going on that is like functioning to like make that shift within us somehow. But it looks like either the changes that have gone on in the past somehow orienting us in a more like self-empowering like way that promotes our ability to like creatively direct or build or form our experience somehow, or like something that we're working towards, or being maybe released from some type of commitment or investment suddenly that had like some level of control maybe over a situation that had been keeping us stuck or keeping us fixed or keeping us stagnant. But with the Tower and the Three of Swords, like that's a dynamic duo right there. That is like suddenly being released maybe from some type of heartbreak. This could definitely represent unexpected healing that comes through as a result of the like collaboration or coming together of people somehow. But it could also have to do with, I don't know, maybe some sudden unexpected heartbreak that also, again, like releases us from maybe some long-standing commitment or investment or established way of doing or being, just like existing, generally living life. Foundations could definitely be shaking here. Again, like with it having been in reverse, this could be more about healing heartbreak from the past, like healing old wounds. This could also be pertaining to, again, self-worth or self-value, or shifting our priorities when it comes to what we value or what we want to put our time or attention in, or like what we want to invest our energy into. But I don't know, it seems like there could definitely be some foundation shifting with people. This could also represent like an actual person, like maybe someone with like a lot of resources, or that is in a very empowered place, coming in unexpectedly somehow in a way that like really changes the game or shakes foundations or heals something as well. But self-value, self-worth, self-empowerment, co-creation, an ability to be resourceful and translate that resourcefulness into like physical, tangible success. It's like the King of Pentacles is also to me sort of like the trine between Saturn and Jupiter right now. It's like having the wisdom to know the practical steps to take to translate the dream into the reality. Maybe that requires some unexpected upset that could really destabilize things and, you know, be painful. Or again, maybe there's a long awaited healing that takes place as a part of this process and hits really unexpectedly, and maybe it's equally destabilizing or jarring or, you know, just like upsetting to the status quo somehow. But I don't know, that King of Pentacles on the back of the deck, it's like there's something powerful to be gained here, and it's related to either our ability to physically manifest what we want in the world, or to like just the material world and our presence in it generally somehow. So interesting tarot message, I would say, especially considering that we've got the astrology going on this week that we do. Now I'm going to get us one more card, you guys. This is going to be some guidance or advice from God, Great Spirit, universe, however you connect to that higher power out there, up there. This is where this message is coming from, and it says drink of inspiration, which is so funny because that's like perfect for Venus in the grand water trine this week. Like I was saying earlier, these like cup runneth over type of vibes, also this creative inspiration that could just be kind of like coming out, spilling out. This card says, as cold water to a weary soul, so is good news from a far country. Proverbs 25:25. You thirst spiritually when you lack joy, peace, inspiration, and confidence. Claim the living waters of the Almighty flow through you as wisdom, truth, beauty, and as joy, harmony, power, and love. Accept this all as your own, and you will then draw from your spiritual waters all you need to give sustenance to your soul. Like, there couldn't have been. There's all of these cards, right? Look at them all. There's so many of these different options for our message today, and this, out of all of these cards, is probably the most perfectly aligned to just the general nature and expression and flow of energy this week, with Venus being that third planet in the grand water trine, being trine Jupiter, being trine Saturn as well. So claim the living waters of the Almighty flow through you as wisdom, truth, beauty, and joy, harmony, power, and love. Accept this as your own, and you will draw from the spiritual waters all you need to give sustenance from your soul. And make sure that you're staying hydrated and drinking extra water this week as well. And that's what I have to say today, you guys. So a message from the stars, a message from the cards. I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, you guys. Share it with your friends if you think that they would also enjoy this type of astrology content. Leave me comments. Absolutely tell me, let me know, give me all the details, what's going on with you out there. Let me know if you're having experiences that line up with or reflect what I'm talking about in these videos. That is very valuable information to me. Valuable information, I mean, right there, Venus and Mercury together, like that's another key phrase that would be associated with the energy this week. So there could also be some valuable information that you are giving or receiving in the reciprocity oriented Venus energy this week as well. I guess a couple last little tidbits there, but other than that, if you share it with, I think I said share it with your friends if you think that they would like it. Definitely share with me what you guys have going on. If you want to know what's on this whiteboard, I will take a picture of it, post it in a Facebook group that I've linked in my description box below. And other than that, come back with me on Wednesday, you guys. We have more energy to get into. As I said, Thursday is a little bit of a wild card day this week. Things could get a little bit more serious as we move forward, or we could be taking things more seriously, or things could be getting real somehow. Lots of ways it could go, and I'll be back to talk all about it. So you don't want to miss it, you guys. I will see you on Wednesday. Have a beautiful opening to your week. And until then, bye.